Thank you for watching KBC Channel 1. My name is Betty Kiptum. It is time for an interactive session, and ahead of the International Women's Day that is set to be celebrated tomorrow on the 8th of March 2024, we'd like to talk about the strides that have been made by women in the media industry. It is an industry where women have not risen to leadership until recent years, and we want to find out from one of those women who is in top leadership in the media industry just what the challenges have been getting this far and what can be done to ensure that more women are rising to the top. The lady in question is Daraja. She is the Radio Programs Manager here at KBC. Thank you very much for joining us and speaking with us.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Please do tell us your journey, how it started until now, briefly.
I have 28 years of experience in media, but I've been in KBC for 27 years now. I started off at the East African Standard after college. I trained in broadcast journalism and mass communication at Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. So I was with the East African Standard as a correspondent in Kisumu for 1 year, that is in 1996. There I was working among men. I was the only lady in that office. The media then was male dominated, and that's why I found myself being the only lady in among around 12 men in the office. So some of the men, do I say, they were prejudiced. They would look at me from the gender perspective instead of looking at my capacity. And therefore, they never imagined that a female journalist can measure up to their male counterpart. So during that time, I had good experience and bad experience too, whereby I would write a story sometimes, and particularly sports stories, and the next day the byline goes to a different person. But that was sorted out because the bureau chief was a very supportive man. So thereafter, I joined KBC in 1997, where I started off as an assistant producer. So as an assistant producer and then later producer, I was involved in productions, that is program productions. In radio, you have your own productions. So I had my own productions on different topics. And we also had joint productions like current affairs. So I did current affairs, both English and Kiswahili. Kiswahili was the Yaliyotufikia and then Darubini. And then I was also an on-air presenter. I did commentaries. I did sports. I did politics. I covered special events. And during that period, when we were coming, we were just new in KBC, the first year, the second year, the third year. We were looked at from the female point of view, is that a female, according to our male counterparts, a female would not cover politics because they don't understand the subject matter. Okay. That was the conclusion without even trying someone. And so because most of the people who did political programs and political reporting were men.
And at this time you were interested in political reporting?
Yeah.
How did you maneuver that?
It was not easy. It was a struggle to prove my worth, that I understand the subject matter, and if you give me a chance, then I'll be able to deliver. So it wasn't easy. At first you'd go with a male counterpart, come back, write the story, but then the credit goes to the male counterpart. Yeah. But with the time, I fought for my space because I believed I had that capacity to handle politics. I also had capacity to handle business stories, because business stories, most of the business reporters, writers, even in the other media, were men. So women were for the soft spots, for soft bits, what we call soft bits, cookery, productions, writing stories about fashion, going for gender stories, those not hard stuff like politics and business. But I fought and proved my worth, and that's why now I reached a point and became a lead current affairs reporter. I ended up being now posted to Parliament after being written off that I cannot do politics, but because of my writing skills and production skills, I was deployed to Parliament as a reporter for current affairs. So I went there. I found it was still male-dominated. From the other media houses, the majority were men. We were, I think, 2 women. I think it was Njeri Rugene. Yeah, mostly. And we were 3. And there was another lady called Claire Agatheru. Yeah, so it was still the men, and Parliament itself was men. The female MPs were just a drop in the ocean.
So how did you navigate that? Let's just stay there for a little bit. Male-dominated media industry, where you're reporting from, also the parliamentarians male-dominated. How did you juggle this?
In the beginning, I would approach, for instance, an MP for an interview. And you know, the way they respond is like they are not sure you'll do the right thing. But with time, I gained confidence from them. Now they would have what they used to call me, William msichana wa darubini, amefika. Because they would hear, they would listen. They used to listen to that program. It was very popular. So they used to listen to it, and most of them would confess they loved the way the program used to be packaged, presented, and the issues that were being discussed in Parliament, we would capture them in the right way. So that's how I gained their confidence, and now they could easily give me the interviews. Whenever I called upon them to comment on something, they would, and some of them would even tip me and tell me there is this story. We are going to discuss ABCD. It's going to be hot. So are you going to be in Parliament? I'm like, yes, I'll be there. So yeah, that's how
you became a powerhouse in political reporting.
Yeah, I did, and I am still. I've covered elections since 1997. I covered Lugari constituency when it was one. It was one because it was divided into 2. It was a huge constituency, Lugari and Likuyani, Malava. So I've covered that. Then I covered the referendum, 2005 referendum. I was in Nakuru, Rongai. But the other elections, 2002, I was in Nairobi. These are the elections I've been in Nairobi. So I have been at the tallying center. Yeah. So that is the National Tallying Center. I was at KICC when it was at KICC, and then it was moved to 2002, 2007. It was at KICC. Then it was moved to Bomas. Yeah. So I've been at the Tallying Center with all the intrigues.
So over the years that you are reporting, what would be your, say, 1 or 2 notable moments?
One of the notable moments is the National Constitutional Conference. That was notable because we made impact, and I was like the driving force. So the impact we made then, I believe, gave me a lot of satisfaction, and that was the highlight. I've covered the constitutional review process before the conference, then during the conference, then after the conference, when we had the Kilifi draft, then now we came to the Constitution of Kenya. That is the 2010 Constitution. I covered the Committee of Experts, and then now we delved into popularizing the Constitution and making the people understand the chapters of the Constitution. So I think that is one of my highlights. The other highlight is sports. Yeah. Actually, it was very interesting. I went to do commentary for taekwondo. I did commentary for swimming. I don't swim.
Okay.
Yes. But I did commentary for golf.
Okay.
I didn't know how golf is played. I didn't know how taekwondo is played. I had just an idea of what swimming is all about. I don't swim. I've never swum. But I had to read about the rules of the game, the scores, so that I could now do that commentary. So that was something, and I managed to do the commentary.
Good on you. Good on you.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to hear from you. You are a leader now in the media industry. You grew into leadership. It's a journey that a lot of women do not take for various reasons. What has got you to where you are in terms of being a leader, and what can be done to increase the number of women, climbing up the ladder?
One, before I even go there, I've just talked about being a producer.
Yes.
But I became a news editor. Yes, I was moved to the editorial department. That is in 2007, whereby we were being blamed of not being very impartial when it comes to political reporting. So I was moved to the editorial department to introduce that aspect, because it was there in radio. Okay. But it was somehow lacking in the newsroom, so I was moved there to see how we can give a voice to both sides and ensure that we are impartial in all that we did. So I moved to the newsroom. I was a news editor up to 2022. June, I was a news editor in the newsroom. But then, and that was not by accident. It is because of the work I was doing at the Current Affairs. That's why the editorial department requested that I move there and just boost the team that was there that was doing great stuff. So I moved there. I worked on the television desk as a news editor. And then thereafter, after 5 years, I moved to radio as a radio editor. That is on the side of the news. So from there, I worked very hard to also just have that wholesome aspect, because my training, I trained in both news and production. So now I had done production. So now I was into news, real stuff, after the experience I had at the Standard. So it is out of sheer hard work. And that's when I also went back to school, that I should mention. I went back to school because when I joined here, I had a diploma in mass communication. So I went back to school to do my degree, and then I did a master's degree. And I also did a certificate in leadership and management. Those are the things that also equipped me, apart from the experience I've had in different aspects. But the academic side also has played a bigger role into why I am in this position. So I worked very hard when I was also in the newsroom, and since I am a producer, when this position came up, I looked at my CV and thought, oh yeah, I can give it a shot, because I'm a producer. I have experience as a producer, and I think I know what is lacking in the department of radio production, and I think I can give it my best shot. So I applied, because I met the basic requirements. I applied, and I waited to be notified whether I had been shortlisted. You know, there is an application, first move.
Yes. You have to put your name there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then you have to wait to be notified if you've been shortlisted for the interview. So I was shortlisted for the interview. Then I had never appeared before the board for an interview. I had been going for interviews before the staff management committee because of the lower positions. But then now this time I was going to appear before the board. I was going to be interviewed by the board. So, and I was like, okay, how many women are in that board? You know, the way you're like, how many women are in that board? Who can support me? Like, okay, I don't know how they are going to be composed, but I will go there. I will give my best. I will prepare well. And that's what I did. Actually, let me tell you, I read. After I received, that notification that I've been invited for an interview, I was shortlisted and I've been invited for an interview. I was given a notice of 1 week. My friend, I prepared. Yeah, I read white. I looked at my leadership and management. How do I call it? Journey. That is the training. It really came in handy. Plus the experience of being a producer and being a news editor. So a combination of that, because that is a different experience as a reporter, as a producer, and then now as a news editor, different experience. Okay. So I brought it together and it blended well. And yeah, here I am. But it's been a journey because I had been doing interviews for other positions.
Yes.
And I wasn't successful.
And then finally you were successful.
Yes.
So I'm curious to know, as a woman who is already in leadership now, how are you supporting the younger generation?
Before even I got into leadership, I am a mentor. I've mentored so many young female journalists. There are those that I have helped get better jobs. In fact, as I speak, there is one who is working for the US government. And I am the one who guided her. She was working here. She was a colleague. There was an opportunity. Then they needed a degree. I didn't have a degree then. So I recommended her. I guided her. She got that job. She was working with a US agency here in Nairobi. She moved to Kakamega. Then now she got a green card to go and work, to go and live in the US. So because of the agency she was working with here, they recommended her to go and work in the main office. So I'm still involved in mentoring, and you know, sometimes I do guidance, that is guidance and counseling, where you see there is potential, but this female journalist doesn't have that confidence in themselves. It happens a lot. We have very good female journalists, but what they lack is confidence in themselves. And then they also have, because of their cultural background, they believe there are certain areas where women are not supposed to move. So when, for instance, I am deliberate normally, I can wake up one day and decide, Betty, I am moving you to this area. You're like, oh, you give me all manner of excuses. But I do not relent. So I will pester you, talk to you, tell you why I think you suit that position, until now you get to accept. I'm doing that a lot because there are young female journalists upcoming, but because of that cultural and religious prejudice, they are unable to put in an application when a promotion is cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is a vacant position. They qualify. They have everything: academic qualification, professional. They have experience. They are intelligent. You know, everything favors them, but they don't put in an application. So that's what I'm working on, to ensure that when positions come up, I encourage them to put in an application and just face the interview the way they faced the first interview when they were looking for this job. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm trying to just ensure that they come up. Yeah, because it's just out of fear, actually. It's not that there's nothing else.
It's just fear.
Yes.
So as we come to a close of the conversation, Ms. Daraja, what would you tell that young woman who is probably in campus and wants to enter the media industry? They have, a whole 30 years in the industry looking at them as they come in. What would you tell them?
One thing is I would tell them not to fear, because what has been happening in the media is that at recruitment level, you get in so many young women, but along the way, they disappear. They resign, change, move to corporate, they disappear because they see more hurdles than opportunities. So what I would tell the young people in the university, young female journalists, is that first, believe in yourself. And there is no easy profession. All professions have their own challenges. Yeah? All professions have their own challenges. So prepare yourself psychologically to deal with whichever challenge you may face when you get into employment. Yeah? So believe in yourself. Learn to define yourself. Don't let any other person to define you, because when you allow them to define you, they will define you in a way that brings you down so that they can come up. So define yourself and tell yourself, I can do it. What I've gone through training like my fellow male counterpart. We've been in fact the same class, and maybe you are even scoring higher than the male counterpart. So if I have been in school, I've gone through the school system, that is primary, secondary, university or college, and I've been in class with these men. What they can do, I can do it.
I agree. What they can do, we can do as well.
Yeah, because if for you do business reporting, it is because you believe in yourself and you know that you have that capacity to report on business. But now when they come in, let them also know what they want. Yeah? If you are interested in politics, let no one discourage you. If you want to be a business reporter, let no one discourage you. If you want to be climate change reporter, any segment or sector that you choose, you can be an agricultural reporter, a very good one who ensures that farmers get the right information, because this country depends on agriculture. So you can be in any field, but make sure that you decide. Don't touch here, tomorrow, the following day. Be specific, be deliberate, be determined, and maintain self-respect.
Maintain self-respect. Thank you very much, Mary, for speaking with us.
Thank you.
That is Mary Daraja. She is the Radio Programs Manager here at KBC, and we have been talking about just her journey in the media industry, 28 years strong, what she has learned, the challenges she has faced, coming from a time when the industry was highly male-dominated to a time now when there are some women, including herself, in the top leadership positions. That is all a precursor to the International Women's Day celebration that is happening tomorrow on 8th of March 2024. For all women who are watching, have yourselves a happy International Women's Day. And to all the men, do support the women in your lives. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.